strike to claim it, a strike to claim it, and he got it!
That is right, I did it! That's number 5! Are you kidding me? That's right! Who do you think you are? I am! Get it right!
So, the Crunchyroll Anime Awards were last week, and, well, they definitely were a thing. Yeah, there was quite a bit of controversy stirred up. Chances are you've probably seen some of the discourse online, but in the off chance that you haven't, the cause for all this commotion is the fact that Solo Leveling brought home the Anime of the Year award, a category that contained highly critically acclaimed animes such as Delicious in Dungeon, Dandadan, Apothecary Diaries, and freaking Frieren Beyond Journey's End. Oh yeah, and also Kaiju number 8. I keep forgetting that that was one of the nominees. Kaiju number 8's just kind of in the corner like, I'm just happy to be here. Needless to say, that is a pretty stacked list of nominees, most of which made for some truly incredible seasons of anime. And then there's Solo Leveling. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to fully admit I do not like Solo Leveling. Huh, you guys hear that? Sounds like there's an angry mob or something outside of my house. Now, I understand that there's a lot of people that love Solo Leveling, and that's great. All the more power to you if you're one of those people. It's just not really a show that appeals to my personal tastes. That being said, I don't want this video to come off as me just hating on Solo Leveling. I'm going to try my best to keep this as objective, fair, and analytical as possible, because I do feel like there is something interesting here to look at. Most notably, how the anime fandom is reacting to all of this. Of course, you have a lot of people who are disappointed or even angry. I mean, just look at that like to dislike ratio. It's crazy. Some are even calling the awards outright rigged due to Solo Leveling, a Crunchyroll licensed show, absolutely sweeping and taking home 9 awards. Meanwhile, a Netflix produced show like Delicious in Dungeon, despite how critically acclaimed it was, takes home no rewards. But that's just speculation more than anything. Though I also wouldn't put it past Crunchyroll considering how scummy they've been in the past, but you know, whatever, you know. I think what's especially interesting here is that the reaction of the Solo Leveling fandom seems to also be kind of mixed. Of course, you have a lot of Solo Leveling fans taking the opportunity to glaze their favorite anime, which, you know, is fine. They're not hurting anyone, so glaze that ham to your heart's content, fellas. But I've noticed that a lot of Solo Leveling fans are also expressing the sentiment that they don't feel like the series deserved the win. For instance, in the Solo Leveling subreddit, there are many users who are straight up admitting that while they still love the show, they didn't feel as though it had any place winning Anime of the Year. And that makes sense. I don't think it's a controversial statement to say that the first season of Solo Leveling isn't the deepest, most thought-provoking anime in the world when it comes to its story, world, or characters. It's a fast-paced, high-octane power fantasy that gets straight to the point with beautifully animated fight scenes. And that's all it really needs to be. That's why so many of its fans love it. But I mean, Anime of the Year? It seems like a lot of people, me included, had a show like Frieren pegged to win. It was one of the most beloved anime from 2024, so when Solo Leveling ended up beating it, it was kind of a shocker.
You did it, sir.
I did it? He did it. He did it.
It's led to a lot of people questioning the legitimacy of the results, many calling the award show less a contest based on objective quality and more so one based on popularity. You see, the Crunchyroll Anime Awards allows the fans themselves to send in their own votes for each category, and therefore, it's only natural that the show that had the most people watching is the one that will inevitably win. And while I wouldn't say popularity is completely null when helping to gauge the quality of something, it really should not be the sole metric used. I mean, with that logic, we could say Transformers Revenge of the Fallen was a better film than The Godfather Part 2 because more people saw it when it was released.
I am directly below. Enemy scrotum.
Yeah, Francis Ford Coppola wishes he was that good. I do think it's important to gauge the wider audience's opinion, but the issue that arises when you do this is that asking for a wide general audience to think about this analytically as opposed to just voting for whatever they watched is basically impossible. I mean, what's stopping little Johnny from pausing his episode of Cocomelon and going in and voting for whatever show has the prettiest colors? It basically throws a lot of critical thought right out the window. For instance, I don't think it would really be that much of a stretch to say that people aren't even voting solely on season 1 of Solo Leveling, but season 2, which came out just this year, just a couple of months ago. Solo Leveling is just very relevant right now, so it only stands to reason that the IP that is currently on everyone's television television is probably going to stand out the most when voting, even though season 2 came out in 2025 and these awards are for 2024. But that's exactly the point. Your average voter probably isn't going to be thinking objectively or analytically about any of these things. They're just going to see what they like, click vote, and be done with it. That's what happens when you make these things accessible to a wide audience, and is also the same reason why some award ceremonies like the Oscars don't take in audience votes. Now, a lot of people have issues with the Oscars, and I'm not even saying that the Oscars are perfect or completely objective in their reasoning when it comes to voting. But at the very least, the Oscars do try to bring in people who have, actually made movies and typically understand what goes into making them. In order to apply to be a judge for the Oscars, you first have to be a member of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. And this isn't something that you can just apply for. First, you need a list of film credits, meaning you actually have to have experience working within the industry to even be considered. Once that's done, you then have to actually be endorsed by someone who's already a member of the Academy. It's not something that just happens willy-nilly. It very much is a curated list of individuals based on a fairly strict criteria. And this is so that it's not just your everyday casual fan making these decisions, but judges with actual experience in film who generally probably know what they're talking about. This is why so many people are saying the Crunchyroll Anime Awards are more so a popularity contest as opposed to an actual measurement of quality, because it feels like it all comes down to the fan vote. But that's the thing, though. The Crunchyroll Awards actually does have judges.
What do you think I'm going to say to you?
No.
Correct. Goodbye.
According to Crunchyroll themselves, the votes are weighed on a 70-30 scale in favor of the judges, which means that the judges' votes are actually given priority over the audience's. So you could make the argument that yes, Crunchyroll is taking objective analysis into consideration with these awards. And all I have to say to that is, it's Crunchyroll. You know they're going to figure out a way to fuck it up. So I checked out the official list of judges that Crunchyroll uses for the Anime Awards, a list of 109 individuals, none of whom actually work within the anime industry. It's mostly just journalists, website editors, cosplayers, YouTubers, TikTok, like what are we doing here? Now, this isn't to disparage any of these people. I'm sure that they're all fine individuals who are passionate for anime, but I would question the validity of a list of people judging anime of the year when literally 0 of those people are actually, anime writers, designers, editors, composers, animators, producers, directors. And I mean, some of these entries and criteria for these judges are hilarious. Like, let's look at this one, for example. Christoph Alja, title, anime connoisseur. Christoph is a true geek, from games on and offline to events in anime. You can talk to him about any topic. Every anime season is meticulously searched for new, interesting stars. Christoph personally watches 5 to 10 titles actively during the season. Okay, again, nothing against this guy. I'm sure he's a fine gentleman, but it just kind of sounds like he's a big anime fan and not much of anything else. Has he worked within the industry, like even tangentially? It doesn't sound like it, and yet he's qualified to judge arguably the biggest anime award show on the planet? I'm an anime YouTuber. I also love anime. Does that mean I'm an authority on these things? Does that mean I'm qualified to be a judge in the anime awards? No, of course not. I've never worked within the anime industry. I'm just some guy who goes online and talks about Japanese cartoons. Because as I get older and the world becomes a bigger, scarier place, I retreat into the comfort of my childhood to escape the fact that I'm getting older and my life has hit a dead end and I'll never accomplish the things that I said I would when I got out of high school. Something I and many other people are beginning to notice is that the Crunchyroll Anime Awards seem really, really flawed. And we don't even really need to speculate on this because people who have actually been involved in the awards, both in the past and present, have basically said so.
I was a judge this year. You want to know what my experience was? My experience was, hey, here are our categories these years. Here's the rough criteria, which is the same than it's been for every year. Sure, fine.
Oh, good. It's not like they announced that publicly.
And then it was like, okay, well, here is my choices for these. Previous years, we've ranked them. There was like points to be assigned and things. This year was just like, what would you put here? And then that made the nominations.
They didn't have numerical rankings. You didn't rank, you didn't assign points.
I think in the future, Crunchyroll really needs to reconsider how they conduct these awards. Because for a number of years, people have been feeling like the awards are losing more and more of their legitimacy. For instance, maybe in the future, get judges who are actual professionals within the industry and maybe even adjust the ratio to be even more in favor of the judges. I mean, you could even do what the Game Awards do and bring in categories like most popular anime or people's choice, where the vote that decides it is the audience vote. That, I feel, would be a nice middle ground. But the thing is, I kind of doubt Crunchyroll even cares. I don't think they really put that much thought into how these awards are conducted, because at the end of the day, this, along with many other award shows, let's be real here, just kind of feel like glorified marketing stunts, meant more for advertisement than anything else. Really, award shows are kind of meaningless outside of entertainment in the grand scheme of things. There's always been a debate about whether all art is subjective or not, and I doubt there will ever be a consensus to that. While I do think that art can be objectively measured in some ways, in other ways, yeah, it is just about the most subjective thing in the entire world. Something that seems shallow and poor quality to you might be life-changing to someone else. And that's the inherent beauty of art, and why pitting all of these very different works of art against each other is kind of pointless. They all do their own thing in ways that make tons of different people happy. The point I'm trying to make here is that we shouldn't use award shows like this to validate the things that we love. The only person who can do that is you. With that said, why Crunchyroll? Why? How could you have done this to us? How could you rob Freeland like this? You betrayed all of us. You will never be forgiven for your sins, Crunchyroll. This is unforgivable. You will pay.